The future of Roe v. Wade is uncertain. Crowds gathered outside the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington. You heard them chanting, "We will not go back." This following news that the court may overturn the 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling, which legalized abortion nationwide decades ago. And the news of the Supreme Court's likely decision came in a leaked draft opinion from February. Politico published that late last night.
News of that leak sent shockwaves across the country. It is driving demonstrators to gather outside the High Court, as we showed you moments ago. ABC 10's Monica Coleman and Lena Howland will break down all the reactions, positive and negative, here in Northern California, and how local lawmakers are reacting too.
First, let's check in with ABC's Justin Fench. He's reporting from Washington this morning.
Good morning, Walt. Good morning, Bree. Those following the Supreme Court say a leak of this magnitude is in itself remarkable, and caution, it's not the final word yet. Still, those on both sides of abortion rights see this as a major flashpoint in the Roe versus Wade debate, and demonstrations have already begun. This morning, tensions high outside the U.S. Supreme Court following a leaked draft opinion in a case that could determine the future of Roe versus Wade and abortion rights across the country.
Stand up, fight back!
The protests coming after the website Politico reporting it obtained documents from a person familiar with the court's proceedings. Those documents labeled a first draft of the opinion in a case challenging Mississippi's ban on abortion after 15 weeks. But in that draft, Justice Samuel Alito, the opinion's apparent author, writes Roe was egregiously wrong from the start.
It was circulated in the court as a first draft by Justice Alito in February, dated February 10th. So it is possible there have been some changes since then.
The draft opinion also citing Planned Parenthood versus Casey. The 1992 case affirmed Roe's finding of a constitutional right to abortion services. Justice Alito on the court's 6-3 conservative majority writing, "We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives." Planned Parenthood tweeting, "Let's be clear, this is a draft opinion. It's outrageous, it's unprecedented, but it's not final. Abortion is your right and is still legal." The draft opinion leak comes as states nationwide have begun passing restrictive abortion measures. Many congressional Democrats now calling for Congress to pass legislation to protect abortion rights by codifying them into federal law. Walt, Bria?
Justin, thank you. Now, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, the states that you see here on your screen in orange would be among the first to ban the practice entirely.
California, of course, not one of those states, although there are plenty of people here who would welcome the change if it were to happen. ABC 10's Monica Coleman live at the Capitol with reaction within the state, a hot button issue, of course.
Good morning. This unprecedented draft opinion is not final, but it is drawing strong reaction from both sides of the debate. We spoke with one woman from Modesto. She's now a mother of 3, but she says when she was a young girl that a man pressured her to get a legal abortion without telling her parents. She said she regrets that decision and did not know that she could keep her baby, and now is against abortions.
I'm praying and believing it will change because it will be a better world.
If Roe versus Wade is overturned, individual states would decide whether abortion will be legal within their boundaries. Take a look at this map. 6 states would outlaw abortion, but according to the Guttmacher Institute, a sexual and reproductive health rights advocacy group, as many as 26 states are likely to quickly outlaw abortion, impacting 36 million people who may need to cross state lines for abortion care or resort to dangerous methods.
California, we have by far the most easy access to abortion in the entire country. You can get it as a minor. You don't have to have parental consent.
Again, it's important to note this is a leaked document. We will not have final word from the Supreme Court until this summer when they make their final ruling. Back to you.
Monica, above all, no matter what side people fall on or what state it is, this was a leak from the Supreme Court. This kind of thing never, ever happens. I wonder if they're going to be able to determine and find out who did it and what axe they're grinding here.
Well, this is the first time in history, actually, while this has ever happened. This is the Supreme Court we're talking about. So this is a breach of the confidentiality of the Supreme Court. So we will be looking into that this morning because this leak is huge and a big part of this story.
Yeah,
Back to you.
It's huge with the ruling not expected till the summer. All of this is going to be going on until then. Okay, thank you, Monica. Bria?
California lawmakers are among the most vocal after learning this news, and they're working to propose an amendment to, quote, enshrine the right to choose in the California Constitution. A group of Democratic lawmakers saying in part, quote, we know we cannot trust the Supreme Court to protect reproductive rights. Well, last night, Governor Newsom tweeted saying our daughters, sisters, mothers, and grandmothers will not be silenced. The world is about to hear their fury. California will not sit back. We are going to fight like hell, end quote. Well, they are not the only ones. ABC 10's Lena Howland joining us with more on their fight to keep California a safe haven for reproductive rights. Lena?
Well, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, a California State Assemblywoman told us the impacts will be immediate and they will be scary. Buffy Wicks represents the East Bay area as a state assemblywoman. She shared publicly her experience with abortion following the Supreme Court arguments on abortion back in December. Wicks tweeted she had a miscarriage in September that required an emergency abortion procedure. She said she was bleeding heavily and had no idea why. Turns out she was pregnant and her pregnancy was not viable. Wicks said, I needed to undergo this procedure as a matter of health care. It wasn't a difficult call because there was no call to be made.
If Roe v. Wade is overturned, which obviously we don't know if this document is accurate or not, but presumably it is, we expect in 26 states almost immediately to be severe restrictions or almost an outright ban on abortion. And those are all Republican controlled states. And this has become a very political issue for the Republican Party base. And they have decided to erode away basic fundamental rights for women in this country.
This is the biggest breach in the security of the Supreme Court that I've seen, and I've been following it since the early 80s. The fact this draft is out and the way it's written is a legal earthquake, not the kind that shakes us here for 13 seconds. This is one that will shake us for years in the legal community, and as far as our rights in America as well.
And that was local attorney Mark Reichel, who has argued before the Supreme Court before. And while it was just a leaked draft, it is unclear if it represents the final word on the matter. But regardless, he says this could change the legal community moving forward. Assemblymember Wicks added that elections matter and voting matters. She said, if you don't like what you are seeing happen in terms of Roe v. Wade possibly being overturned, then make sure your voice is heard in the upcoming election cycle. Bria?
All right, Lena, definitely a story that we are going to continue to follow, a big one this morning. And you can get alerts like this one straight to your phone as soon as they happen. Just download the free ABC 10 app on the Google Play or in the Apple App Store.